Pretty excited.
Yeah,
It's
it was.
2025. All right.
And having to catch up with our friends and all
Oh
that
yeah,
is
man.
awesome.
That's all you could ask for.
Yeah, for
All right.
sure.
It looks like we are live.
All
All right.
right.
Let's make sure we get all of our settings. Can you see that okay right there? The
Yeah, I
comments?
can see that.
All
I
right.
can
Because
see the
I can, let
comments.
me zoom in.
And it says no comments yet.
All
So,
right. There we go. Yeah. No comments yet. We just get rocking.
yeah.
All right. All right. It is 7 o'clock.
Awesome, awesome. What a week.
I'm telling you, 2025 is here, baby. All right. Here we go.
Mhm.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another great episode of Conversations Under the Hood. I'm your host, Robert Helm, and the wonderful Dr. Lindy Helm.
What he said.
Yes, always, always. What
Uh,
well, I don't know where you want to start, but I know we were just briefly talking about 2025.
this week went really fast.
It was,
It seems like it was just, New Year's Day, and before we know it, it's Sunday again.
yes.
That's just showing how fast time goes and
A
how
whole
much,
year has
yeah,
passed since last time we
we
talked to
talk.
the audience. Isn't that amazing?
Right,
That is just the
absolutely.
craziest thing.
Yeah,
So, but
just,
last week, I like how we ended it though.
hmm
I like leaving nuggets that kind of resonated throughout the whole, what, 14, no, excuse me, about 16 episodes that we
hmm
did last year. So
yeah,
this is a new year and a new venture. So what I need to do here is go ahead and start sharing this. So,
yeah.
all right.
Well, while you sharing that, I was just, thinking about how important it is to prepare. Time goes really fast, and I realized that no matter how busy I am,
Mm-hmm.
and before I know it, the things that I really wanted to get done, things that I keep procrastinating, saying that I'm going to get done,
Mm-hmm.
before I know it, the whole year is gone, and I'm like, what did I do the whole year? The things that my New Year resolution from 2023 to
Mm-hmm.
2024.
Right.
So as I was going down my checklist, I guess I just realized that time goes really fast,
It does.
and you can never get time back.
It does.
So I was looking at, what am I going to do differently this year?
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that I take advantage of the time that I have,
Mm-hmm.
before it's December all over again, and then 2026,
Yeah.
because it does seem to go really fast.
It does. It goes really, really fast, as a matter of fact, because, like I said, I was being a little facetious when I said a whole year has passed since the last time, since the last time we had an opportunity to have the show. But in
Yeah.
reality, you know, I think, I think it was the last show. Maybe it was the show before that. We were talking about how fast time was going,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, literally, it wasn't a year, but sometimes when you look up and it goes from Monday and the next thing you know it's Friday, and it just
Yeah.
seems like it's just speeding up every
Yeah.
day. I don't
Yeah.
know, but anyway, it's one of those things now where you gotta. I mean, especially when I think about kind of the urgency, getting ready to
Mm-hmm.
be 50 years old. It's like, you got a plan every
Yeah.
year. I know, man. Every time the new year come, I'm like, oh man, here we go, another
Close.
year.
Getting
Yep.
close.
So it ain't a birthday, but it seemed like a birthday.
Yeah.
But the exciting part about that is, like it seems like this time of the year is like a refresher for everybody. A lot of us
Mm-hmm.
we have New Year's resolutions and things of that nature,
Yeah.
and
Time to reflect.
yeah,
In terms of, what went really well,
hmm
what we can do better,
yeah, yep.
and what to look forward to.
Absolutely. Well, I think
Yeah.
the big thing that I noticed in last year anyway,
Hmm.
I my goal was like I said, we kind of do this New Year's resolution thing,
Yeah.
but just when the end of the year started to approach, I started to already get a little antsy, man, because I was
Yeah.
like, man, I want to finish this year strong because the excitement of planning a new year is like, oh man, the new year's coming, I got a new chance to do things, right?
Hmm.
And that's generally how I feel. But this particular year, I felt it within the last few weeks of the year. I felt like I just I don't know. I didn't feel like I would say either I didn't feel subconsciously like I had accomplished much,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I wanted to accomplish more. I don't really know what the driving force was, but I told myself I wanted to finish the year strong. So I
Hmm.
focused more on finishing the year strong than I did about planning for 2025. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because I
right.
felt like if I finish 2024 strong, that would set me up for a good 2025.
2025, right.
So, and in doing that, I feel good. I feel good about how I ended last year, and I feel encouraged about going into this year. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome. To me, the year just went really fast.
Yes.
I think I worked a lot, getting things done,
Uh huh.
in my career.
Right.
Before I know it, the year is gone. But one of the biggest highlights, I have to say, just a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
we got a chance to really connect with our really good friends, friends that we consider a family.
Right.
Get to see their beautiful, wonderful kids. I
Yeah.
think that just really did it for me. It
Absolutely.
was, something that I really, really enjoyed. And we got to talk about a lot of great things. We got to talk about, what can we do together?
Mm-hmm.
How can we combine our intelligence, our talents together and make something happen,
Right.
but not just for us, for our kids' future.
Yeah.
So those are the things that already enliven me
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So that was really great, catching up with friends. And as a matter of fact, I got so excited. I'm like, hey, you guys should come to the show. And I
Yeah.
forgot, like, wait a minute, you got to give people time to prepare and,
Right.
get ready and, for us here. But, I was really grateful because you know what, even though it was just like the last minute, knee jerk reaction,
Mm-hmm.
our friends were like, yeah, sure, we'll come, what time, so I'm
Right.
really honored and I'm really grateful, for our friends who are sometimes just are okay with, our last minute,
Yeah.
requests and or questions. So,
Yeah. I know. I thought it
but
was awesome though. To conversate about coming together and building something as couples.
yeah.
I think that's a very encouraging way to go into 2025, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
because one of the things that we have been wanting to do, we've been wanting to really learn how to grow food for ourselves
Yeah.
and how to identify plants and just like that whole thing.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think it's awesome that that family is like they're more than what I would have ever even thought about. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In that regard. So I think
Yeah.
that's awesome, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Especially because we have been kicking around ideas, and the concept, and you know being true to what Conversations Under the Hood
Yeah.
was really about was
All
about
about.
family and business. And so
Yeah.
things that we have been talking about, we have been blessed, with having acreage, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
having
Some
acreage,
land.
yeah, it gives you opportunities, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like, okay, so with land, what do you do with land?
Mhm.
Because growing up in the city, you used to like a small little front yard and maybe a backyard. You know what I mean? If you're
Mhm.
lucky,
Mhm.
no side yards or anything like that. So it's pretty small
Right.
area, and so
Hey,
you.
we try to have a little garden back there. It's just like
Yeah.
we have deer problem.
Well,
Like
I'm
we,
not gonna say we tried. I'm gonna say we did
we
a
did,
garden.
we did, and we planted a few things.
Yep.
But it
Yep.
was really, it was so refreshing,
Hmm.
when we met with our friends because they knew exactly what to do. Did you see their gardens?
I
Their
did.
raised bed
Yes.
garden. I mean, I'm like, hey, all this grocery store is about to go out of business because I know where to go buy fresh produce
Yes.
from now on.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, I
not
mean,
not produce. That's gonna be.
yeah, fruits
Yep.
and vegetables and herbs, all of
Yeah.
that, so
Well,
yeah.
the good thing about this, right, is that it gives us an opportunity to learn
Hmm.
how to do the things that we've been wanting to do. It gives, in terms of growing and,
Yeah.
like
Well,
really
there's a big difference. See, they keep up with it. Did you hear what she said? She's like, you gotta go back there every day. You gotta converse with your
gotta talk to your
plants.
babies.
You gotta talk to your babies and all that. So
Indeed.
I am willing to go and buy until you get to that state of mind. Right, because we planted, we did, but then we didn't go back to the garden until a month later. And I remember you calling me in the UK. You're like, oh, the deers ate all your cabbages, and I'm like, were you back there? Did you see them? What did you do?
I'm
So
not a
we just
scarecrow.
have to be real
I
about it
know I'm
because
scared,
we
but
learn
I'm not a
it.
scarecrow. But yeah, that's true. But what I gathered from, you know, talking with her is that you got to be passionate about it,
Yes. Yeah,
and
the
it makes
passion
sense
she
because
has.
if you're
Yeah.
doing anything that you're not passionate about, the odds of you doing it
Yeah.
really well is probably not going to be that great.
Did you
So,
see the kids too? Even the kids that back there, with
yep,
all these abs taking pictures.
yep,
I'm like, oh, it's so wonderful connecting, with our friends. So
yes,
we
it
will
is.
learn. We'll figure out what to do with all these, acres that we
Right,
have, particularly growing food and, staying strong and staying healthy.
right.
So
So what we
those are
got
really
here?
important.
Looks like we got Compass Ion. Hey, welcome, buddy. What do you say?
Welcome.
Green thumb here at your. Boy, hey,
Yeah,
you
no,
ain't
they're
lying
not that
about
green.
that.
Not as green as you anyway, but oh my
Yes.
goodness, yeah, absolutely not. Our friends are like, and in fact, Mr. Compass Ion, you gotta meet his family,
Yeah.
because I know every now and then when we appreciate it, brother, because he always stops by
Hmm.
with a fresh broccoli, like, hey,
Always.
family, here's some fresh
Hey, he
broccoli,
know.
here's some bananas. So I know you're into that healthy, living.
Yep.
So
Yep.
can't wait to introduce you to our friends. They are awesome, just great people, great family,
Yeah.
and you know,
We were talking
really
about it
down to
actually.
earth. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And we talked about it a little bit because
Hmm.
one of the things, like when we were talking to Jenny, because I'm going to say these people because I can't. I'm just going to have to say your first name,
Names,
Jenny.
yeah.
But just talking with them and just seeing
Yes,
how
I
that
can't
family
wait.
has come.
Awesome.
I remember,
Yeah.
10 years ago or so when we were spending a lot of time together.
Yeah.
It's like I
Good.
think she's always kind of had a passion for it. Well, especially being passionate about music and stuff like that. It just seems like that same compassion for people that she
Hmm.
has with her music, she
Hmm.
has that same compassion with the plants, which it makes sense
Hmm.
because when you look
Well,
at the
she was
plant,
getting
you
her
see,
PhD
hey,
in homeopathy.
yeah, well,
This
yep,
they are not playing. This is a power couple.
yep,
This just so much. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity to connect, because I realize that with those wonderful meaningful connection, there's
hmm,
just so much to learn, so much to share, and so
absolutely,
much that we can do together.
yep,
For our kids, and it was wonderful seeing the kids, just running around, having fun.
hmm,
um, so we gotta. So that's what I want to do this year.
yeah,
I'm gonna balance work,
hmm,
and life,
right.
and make sure that I get out, connect with great friends, and
Do more
do more,
things, yeah.
do more things outside work.
On that note, right? So if we
Mhm.
go back and do like we normally do, we recap, right? On last
Mhm.
week. Last week, the last gold nugget was pretty much that
Mhm.
when we were talking. And it was, I can't remember the exact words, but essentially, it was about loving on your family and letting your family love on you, and
Right.
that family not being just
Immediate
your
family.
immediate family, but your community
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that either is supporting you or you're supporting, or ideally you support each other.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, and I'm loving the fact because this happened by itself. You
Yeah.
see what I mean? Like if we
Yeah.
it's kind of like we put it out there as we were talking last
Yeah.
week, and then this week it manifested. And so the other thing we talked about, it being a transition from 2024 into 2025.
Yeah.
You were talking about self care, right?
Yep. Self
and
care.
and that feeling
Being
well,
kind to
and yeah,
yourself.
all of that.
You know.
And so this
Really
is the
great.
same thing because for us as a couple, right? When we look at last year, let's just say,
Mhm.
we didn't do a whole lot of couples things. We went out to a couple
Yeah.
dinners with a couple colleagues, things like that, or
Yeah.
dinner together.
Yeah, but
But
it
not
still was work,
yeah.
because it was colleagues from work.
Well,
Not
but that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm not even talking about the work so much as I'm talking about the social interaction,
Mm,
right?
hmm.
Because having your own office, you could go in your office and really not be very social, right?
Right.
And then me working from home, or in where if I'm out in the field or whatever,
In
same
other
kind of
words, we
thing.
need to have life. We work
Fun
too much.
life, yeah,
We
yeah,
get to
yeah.
engage. We
That's
need to
it,
have fun life, and so
right?
and we saw that yesterday. I mean, Well, I know that Jen and I, we're not ready to go. You're like, we gotta go. I'm like, but we can stay a little longer. Let's just show how much we need to, connect with our friends, our family, because
Right.
time goes by really fast.
Yes, it
You
does.
know,
It sure does. Let's
Absolutely.
see here. So I just want to
Absolutely.
make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. So yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, so let's jump on to the topics that or questions that we wanted to kind of really address today.
Yeah, that we didn't get to finish.
I
So I'm
mean, we
bringing it
got
to the last. We're not going to be able to finish. I printed some more too, some emails from.
yeah. Well, it's
But
okay because we'll go through these. I just wanted to, just chat, man. Just kind of catch up on, what things are. I was hoping to see some more comments, some interaction, some more people in here. But hey, whatever.
that's okay.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
finish the
we'll do our
questions
thing.
anyway.
Yeah.
They
So
probably waiting
I'm,
till
I'm. So I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let you because last time I was reading them, so I'm gonna let you.
you let me do
I'm
what?
gonna let you ask the question. If it is it applied to
Answer
me?
the
Is this one
question.
for
How
me?
about
It
yeah
ain't for
for
me
your
to.
number three?
Yep.
We were on number three, family dynamics and parenting.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And jumping into 2025, what are we gonna do differently? What did we learn from 2024 in terms of family dynamics and
Mhm.
parenting and
Mhm.
other people that we've been
Yeah.
around?
Well, go ahead and answer that. That's why I said you get to go first.
You know what? For me, what I'm gonna do differently, I'm gonna work on being emotionally available.
Mhm.
When you work so much, sometimes you find yourself you are physically available but not emotionally,
Right.
and before you know it, your kids are grown,
Mhm.
and you miss that opportunity to connect in a much much deeper level.
Mhm.
So, and I'm saying for me because for like almost a decade I was working
Mhm.
out of town, sorry. And so there was so much time in between, even though I was able to see my kids whenever I wanted to, see you whenever I wanted to every weekend,
Mhm.
and sometimes coming up there Sandusky to see me. There's still so much that you miss.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my 16-year-old and I was saying, it seems like we were together way more often. What do you guys mean when you say you missed me so much when I was working out of town?
Right.
And she was like, she had a perfect answer. She's like, Mom, it's not so much that you were not here and we
Mhm.
were not coming there.
Right.
It's like sometimes you were not here when we needed you the most.
Right. Right.
When we really needed you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're at work and I'm at school and I need to call my mom because I'm not having a great day, those are the kind of things that I'm talking about.
Right.
So it had me thinking really deep about, again, the family dynamics and, all of that.
Mhm.
Because even though I saw myself being really here
Mhm.
every time, driving home sometimes in the middle of the week and having my kids with me all the time, but that minute when they need you the most and
Right.
you're not able to come or answer the phone, sometimes that's what resonate the
Well,
most.
that's always
Yeah.
it's always the little things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's well, you look back at your own childhood, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have those big moments, right?
Mhm.
But those a lot of times, some of those big moments, I should say, are the result of small things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was good to because I heard that conversation actually, and I thought about that because we still have two younger children
Yeah.
that hopefully we can not make the same
Yeah.
error or mistake, if you will.
Yeah, not to be consumed by our career because
Yeah.
you see yourself being here.
Right.
But, if you really are not available emotionally, you miss a lot of cues.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
indeed, man. But I'm thinking about too. See, doing the type of work that I do in construction, see, I used to take the kids to work with me, right?
That's when
It's-
they were still interested. 'Cause
Yeah.
they were so young.
Yeah, well, exactly. Or where,
Now
where
they
they
be like,
couldn't say no.
"No, I
yeah,
don't
they
think
couldn't
so."
say
Yeah.
no. That was more or less the thing. But it's just, uh, I don't know. I don't know. We got a chance to get it right, I guess, if you will. If there's a such thing as right, because you as parents, right? Especially when the generations are so different, especially how fast they grow now. Sometimes it's just like there's no understanding. Like you can't see what it is that they're feeling because it's foreign. Like you know what I mean? It's like it's
Yeah.
not something that we experience. Like for instance, um, we didn't really have the online, virtual lives like a
Yeah.
lot of kids do now, right?
Yeah.
So if if we had an experience on a computer that was not positive, it would be something like the computer turning off
Yeah.
or the application not working or something like that. But
Yeah.
now, and that ain't usually won't cause you to do anything other than get mad. You might bang on your computer or whatever, but
No, I
that's
don't
the
do
end
that.
of it.
That's what you do.
Well, I said somebody, not me.
Oh.
But but like
Yeah.
looking at like kids now, that stuff means so much to them, man. That
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean. You
Yeah,
never know
I mean,
how
look
they're
at
gonna
our
respond.
8-year-old.
That's what I'm saying.
Uh, if she playing with her characters, you
Mhm.
know, in this virtual world, in a private server,
Yeah.
if 1 second goes by and then there's a glitch, she's ready to be done with
Yeah.
it. You know,
Yeah.
for us, I remember just connecting to the internet. You remember that sound?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And
Yeah.
waiting, you know, when the modem was
Yeah.
connecting,
Mhm.
and then you
Mhm.
just wait and wait and wait.
Mhm.
So there's definitely a huge difference now,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I think what's going to help us is sometimes listening quietly. You know,
Yeah.
so because from the parent perspective, you know, you want to respond, you want to provide, you want to discipline, you
Mhm.
want to, you know, all of the above. But I think, you know, for me in particular, you know, I'm gonna try to
Mhm.
just listen quietly and try to understand things from their perspective,
Right.
you know, instead of coming from the place of wanting to give discipline, offer advice, and all of that.
Right.
You know, so
We want to welcome. We have Tracy
Tracy
Nicole. Welcome.
welcome. Yeah.
She says, "My kids go to work with me often. They used to complain as time goes on. They see how hard I work and appreciate." Yeah, there you go. A little more learning the value of a dollar and how we have to get it as adults. Man,
Yes.
that's so true. But and that kind of
Absolutely,
goes
Tracy,
into
yeah.
like what the point I was trying to make about the virtual world. Like you know, so in other words, things that we it's like not having that experience,
Right.
not it even being an available experience for
Yeah.
us to recognize that. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes that could be a little difficult. So the things that mean so much to
To
them,
them, yeah.
it might be hard to see that.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Be like, oh, it's just a computer. Like if the monitor breaks or something, be like, oh, I'll get it next week. But for them, they feel like the whole world is
It's a
over.
whole-
You see what I mean? And you're just like, it's just a monitor. You see what I'm saying? But for
Yeah.
them, it means something more. And that's what I'm just trying to say. Sometimes that I feel like it could be a disconnect, especially in that
Yeah.
technical, I guess,
Yeah.
context. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and they're teaching us so much. But you know, in that virtual world, you know, I just want to share that it's really, really important also to be on top of what your kid is watching, playing,
Absolutely.
and you know what your kids are being exposed to. Because even though there are kids shows out there or kids games, unfortunately there are adults, you know, there or people with bad intentions, and we learned the hard way because every now and then we go and look at the history and see what our kids are playing.
Right.
So for us, we like it too because we have all the kids that also keep an eye and they understand these, you know, current, you know, games in virtual world and what have you.
Right.
So they try to keep an eye on their, you know, younger siblings. But we've learned that. There are people who literally come in this, you know, kids' games and then say adults' things.
Oh man.
So kids get all, you know, confused and they go sometimes and search what those things that they're
Yeah.
saying mean.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that could be a really horrible, horrible experience. So we like it because I think we caught that in time.
Yeah.
And then we had to make certain changes and we had to talk with our children to make sure that our children
Right.
understand.
And she rationally, rational
Yeah.
enough to understand that. Yeah.
Very rational, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she was like, Mom, if I'm in my virtual server and I see somebody I don't know, I just completely, you know, get out of the game and, you know, or kick them out or what have you. But that does happen. Just
Right.
when you think you have all the control and you have all the eyes everywhere.
Right.
And I think what's worse now, they use this language so it doesn't get caught by,
Yeah.
either whether it's TikTok or
Hmm.
Facebook. That's not what our kids are playing, but
Right.
I'm saying that now they're coming with this clever way of saying things so
Hmm.
they don't get banned.
Yeah.
You
And
know
you
what I'm
know
saying?
what?
And then you see if it gets all the way down to, children's
Yeah.
games.
But that, you know what's even worse? Like, because the language part of it, it's like, what to me really is troubling. And I
Hmm.
guess I didn't realize this so much in the past, like when we were watching cartoons.
Right.
The stuff that we laughing at is being created by adults.
Yeah.
It's not kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And today, when you look at all of many of the YouTubers that are, producing content
Hmm.
for children that are
Hmm.
not like children influence content. You see what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like just adults acting like kids.
Yeah.
Man, that to me, I don't know. That makes me nervous. It really does because
Hmm.
just like what you're saying, a lot of times the way that they say things or the undertone humor and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff is really influential
Hmm.
because the kids see it on YouTube and it don't matter if they got 1 view or 1 million views.
Hmm.
They don't distinguish the difference so much. I don't think in that as much as the ooh and the ah of what they seeing because it's like watching TV. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And so it must be real
Yeah.
to a young mind
Hmm.
to some extent.
Yeah.
Hence why
Well, to adults too.
I know, but
we
I'm
still
just
hear it's true. I saw it on the internet.
but I'm just
It's
saying,
true. I saw it on TV, and we still, hear those kind of comments every now and then.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, my point is just that it concerns me
Yeah.
to see it in action. To know that like adults are playing, like
Hmm.
Donkey and Shrek. That's one of my favorite animations. You know what I mean? It's my favorite show. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, it's like it's adults playing characters. But not that that was a bad thing. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying that it's the same kind of like that's a little more. I don't know. I
It's
don't know.
enticing to
It's
children.
yeah. It
right?
just makes me
Because,
nervous,
it's
man.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the content they don't realize, these YouTubers sometimes, the content creators, they don't realize that sometimes they are children, like literally 10, 8, 5
Hmm.
year olds who are watching.
Right.
But even if it's not their goal to reach that young audience, the point is like the children are watching.
Right.
But yeah, we just have to, keep, diligent. Watching, every now and then, go to that history, the things that they're playing or watching, even if we have them on a private server, for some of these like Minecraft and all these games.
Yeah.
But
So.
yeah, so 2025, that's what I'm going to learn, to try to be more understanding, listening quietly,
Mhm.
and, trying to support them and be emotionally available as much as possible, balancing that work life.
Good. Good. Okay. So I mean. So let's address this. All right. So it says to talk about. Let's see here. How their cultural backgrounds shape their views on family, parenting style, and child rearing practices. So let's
Wow,
kind
yeah.
of talk about that. So let's talk about our cultural backgrounds a little bit. You can go first.
Well, I think we beat this one to death.
We did.
Last week.
All right. Well, then fine. You want to skip it? You want to skip it?
Unless you have anything else to
Man,
add. Unless
hey,
you guys
We
wanna,
still got a couple pages here.
you wanna
Let's see.
add more,
There ain't
but-
there. Let's see. Do we have any more comments? It don't look like
We-
nobody got.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
so
talked more about,
you can answer that one quick then.
how we discipline children,
Mhm.
from different cultures.
And then traditional.
And, I was saying that it's
yeah.
very similar,
Mhm.
all that, feel like we have to physically punish our children in order to get our points across,
Mhm.
instead of, seeking other alternatives, because the goal is to really guide these children,
Mhm.
not necessarily have to inflict pain in order for them to understand what you're trying to go to. So, but I think we beat that one today.
Yeah, I
We
got a
talked
perfect
about
one.
food
I got the
and all
perfect
that.
one.
Okay,
Perfect
go
one.
ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right. Travel experience.
Travel
Yeah.
experience.
So
Okay.
I remember last week we got to talking about what my experience was like when I got to South Africa and all that, right? But we didn't
Yeah,
get to the
another
nitty gritty.
question about that?
Yeah, we didn't get to the nitty gritty of that. All right. It says here, share travel experiences between the U.S. and South Africa, right?
Yeah.
Including favorite destinations, cultural encounters, etc. So we talked a little bit about that. We
Oh,
talked
but
about
we
the
didn't
table.
get-
Yeah, we
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about this not knowing that It was one of the
Yeah.
questions. So
Okay.
so now we can address that a little more straight. And I'm just
Oh,
thinking
number
about
nine. Wow.
the
Okay.
yeah the experience of um. Well, before I say mine, is there one that any particular experience that you
No,
think
go
of?
ahead.
Okay, all right. So for me, oh boy, um, when I flew to South Africa, as you already know,
Hmm.
that was my first time ever being on a plane, ever, right?
Oh, right. You
And
did good though.
no, well, I did good
Going
with you.
there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did good with you. And being distracted with the kids, I think that was probably the biggest thing because bouncing them and all that, you don't really feel the much of the
Yeah.
turbulence or whatever.
Yeah.
So so that was great. Like the trip there, that was good. On the way
Hmm.
back, right? When you left, well, you came
I
back.
came back first with the
Yeah.
youngest, with our youngest baby.
Yeah, you like a
So
couple of weeks, I think, right? Before I did, it wasn't.
no, you didn't want to come back. You stayed there
I know.
another few months. What do you
Okay.
mean talking?
I
A
know I didn't
couple
want
of
to come
weeks.
back, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was like, yeah, it was. That's right. You're right because I was still working on Auntie Ellen's kitchen. That's right. I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It took
anyway,
you longer, yeah. But
it
you
did.
told me you didn't want to come
All
back.
right,
I
yeah.
was
So
like,
and let
you
me
gotta
make sure
come
ain't none of
back.
my friends on here because
Yeah.
they'll be laughing for real. Okay. Yeah, I think
Yep.
I'm good. So on the way back, now see, this is great because you weren't there. So this kind of, even though you know the story, it'd be
Hmm.
like living the experience over again. Uh-oh.
Right.
Weren't looking forward to. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, hey, I was looking for an excuse to stay.
Yeah.
Compass tell him, yeah, I would
You
have,
didn't want.
man.
Oh no. I
I
was
didn't
like,
want
you
to come
got.
back.
You
Mm.
got house here, houses at the time,
Yeah.
and you got children, you got bills to pay.
Hey, all right. So
and to come back.
I don't want to
Okay.
get sidetracked from this wonderful, fantastic story.
Okay, go ahead. Go
But all right, so on the way back, I
Mhm.
remember now. So I have to tell y'all that I'm the kind of person that I get anxiety. Okay, when I have to do stuff that I haven't done before, like that's
yeah.
I don't really know how to explain it because it only happens at certain times. But like coming back on the plane, like going there, I had the benefit of having you.
Yeah.
You know the passport, you know the whole routine.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that was my only time, and it wasn't like I was taking notes because I expected us to come back together. So
Yeah.
so coming back by myself, all of that stuff, I was panicking
Yeah.
because I didn't know what to do.
Mhm.
Plus, I had the kids.
Mhm.
So I had the two oldest, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to figure out how to keep up with these guys so I don't lose them,
Mhm.
and you know what I mean, and just attend to their needs, but then to also know what I got to do and when I got to do it.
Right. Right. Checking in.
Yeah,
And
all of that.
Yeah.
And I just remember to get to on the plane in South Africa, that was cool because I had everybody with me.
Mhm.
But when we flew from South Africa to Amsterdam,
Mhm.
I believe it was Amsterdam on the way back. Yeah, we flew into Amsterdam. Well, hold on, I'm putting the cart before the horse because the best part of the story was the trip between South Africa and Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So we get on the plane. I get everything. I think I got everything set anyway, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
We find our seats, and it's on a big giant plane, and I got these two kids sitting here next to me. We were in the middle, thank God.
Yeah.
And the plane was so big, it had like the middle, and then there was outside lane out there, and
Oh,
then
yeah, yeah.
outside, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so, we were like right in the middle, and so everything seemed good, we get off the ground. The takeoff is good. The takeoff is rough, but it's good.
Mhm.
And so once we get up there and and they're like, okay, you can, whatever. I think you can take off the seatbelt and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm a little nervous. So I'm like, let me have a drink. Let me have a drink. I'm a chill, right? I'm a chill
Yeah.
because I'm like the kids. I got them good.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have a drink. So I'm like, let me get one. And I don't remember. I think it was Jack Daniels or something like that and Coke. And
Yeah.
so I had a drink and I'm like, okay, they tiny. And so I'm chilling again. A little more time passed, and I'm like, man, let me get another one. You know what I mean? I'm still a little on edge. So I think I had about 3 drinks,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I was good. At that point, I'm like, I'm good. I think I might have even leaned back and started relaxing.
Mhm.
And boy, oh boy, I say about maybe a half hour, 45 minutes went by. And we were over the ocean, man.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at the monitor in front of me, and all I can see is blue, and I'm panicking because I'm just like, dang, if something happened, they ain't even gonna find us. You know what I mean? We're gonna be right in the middle of the water. We ain't got a chance. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I still believe that if a plane was going down and you jump before it hit the ground, you got a chance. I know it wasn't logical, but
Right.
that's
Okay.
somebody who never did. So
Yeah.
anyway, so as this time is passing, I began to feel a little funny.
Yeah.
You know, the plane, little
The
turbulence,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, you know, and okay, and we good. And then my stomach started feeling a little funny, and I'm like, ooh, that ain't good. And before I knew it,
Yeah.
I had the motion sickness just hit me just like that,
Mhm,
and all I could do is jump up because I was about to, you know,
Throw
all
up.
over
Oh.
everybody, man.
Oh,
And so I
yeah.
ran to the bathroom. I made it to the bathroom, thankfully.
Mhm.
I got in the bathroom and opened the door,
Mhm.
got inside, and figured out how to lock it. And as soon as I did that, I just exploded, man. I was just like, it went everywhere, man. I mean, it was like I was just a
Ooh,
water
wee.
hose.
Ew.
Yeah, it was bad, real bad. And
That's gross.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what to do because it wasn't like adequate stuff to clean up or nothing like that. Because it's just like
It's tiny.
it's like
yeah.
a bus station
And
bathroom
there's
or
no
something.
paper towel there. So you left it? You left all of
Man,
that?
I didn't know what else to do, so
Oh,
I
God.
left. And once
poor
I
people
got
had
myself,
to go after you.
oh no, it was bad. It was so
Oh.
bad they closed the bathroom down, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and then that what made it so much worse is that the flight from South Africa to Amsterdam is
Yeah.
like 9 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were like 3 hours into the flight, so
Oh,
the last
so you
6
got
hours
6 hours.
they only had one bathroom.
Oh.
The whole rest of the
So
flight,
people
man.
were lining up
they
to
was
the-
mad, boy. And the matter of fact, they was so mad. The flight attendant came to me. She's like, "Why didn't you just say something?" And I just looked at her like a puppy. I was like, "I ain't know." And so they gave me a bag and all that, man. And I was just like, and it took me probably a good hour after I came out to finally.
Look, I'm saying my,
I know,
my
it was
face
rough.
is stuck.
It was rough, man. That was rough.
Oh,
But
gross.
and then, so
Yeah.
that part was, once I finally survived that and made it to Amsterdam, that's when the real anxiety kicked in, right?
Yeah. Did the kids throw up too? I think you told me the
I
kids.
think,
threw
yep,
up
they
too.
did. That's why I had the bag because they started. That's what I'm saying. That I
Yeah,
don't think
they
it might not
looked
have
at
just
you
been
and
me.
Smelled you and
Oh,
they're like,
that-
They
that's
probably
messed
was
up.
smelling throw up.
Oh, that's messed up.
no, but
they,
you know
they
how
might
the
have. They
kids,
might
yeah.
have. They might
Oh my
have.
goodness.
But so
There's a reason why I had gum, and I kept giving you gum whenever we are sending them like here, chew on gums, pop your ears,
Yeah.
and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I made sure we didn't drink because if you have motion sickness, that's a
It's a bad combination. Yeah, it's not even bad. That's a
whatever you
horrible
do.
combination, man. That is
Yeah,
just oh my
wow.
goodness.
Ooh,
So,
yeah,
but then when we got to Amsterdam, that was the part that I thought was
Yeah.
really gave me anxiety because I didn't know where I was.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I didn't know what to do because all of the signs were in a different language.
Mhm.
And so the whole time,
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, I got these kids again. I got to watch these kids. So I'm trying, they's like, oh, we hungry. And now I'm trying to find food for them.
Mhm,
And I don't
mhm.
know how to navigate the airport. Can't read the signs. I'm trying to ask people and they're not real helpful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when the people that do try to help me, they're like, what more? I'm like, never mind. And so
Oh,
I
my
just
goodness.
luckily followed everybody that was just moving. Like seemed like everybody was going in one direction, so I just followed that direction with everybody, and we got lucky. We found our plane, and from Amsterdam, I think back to the U.S. I think that part of the flight, I think I survived
bad.
that okay. Yeah, but
Oh my God!
man,
I
that
know
was-
everybody in the
Oh,
plane was just
man.
looking at y'all like,
I'm sorry. I hope I
What
didn't
the
gross nobody.
heck?
Look, I done lost some
Yeah.
viewers. I'm sorry, y'all. My bad. I just had to say that story because
yeah,
it was that's one of those high points literally of my life when I was up there 30,000 feet in the air, boy.
No, I thought you were gonna talk about how, well, first, letting you go play basketball, even though it was, great team in South Africa, one of the national teams or whatever, you didn't speak the language.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't know anybody else. And, we were just very trusting. But people, they were very friendly. They were going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you told me, like, you got into a little disagreement, because when y'all play basketball, there's always somebody bumping on each other. And
Right.
before you know it, but you said they started saying something in different language. And you were like, you had no idea what they were saying. But
Right.
obviously, people were just not happy with
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah, no, you can. I mean, well, even when you don't speak the language, it's like the energy, the body language. You can read
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could tell. But it was. I'm pretty rough when I play basketball. You
Yeah.
know, I mean I grew up.
This
you know,
American.
Yeah, well, and that pretty much was how it was too, because everybody else is like hands off basketball, and I'm hands on. I'm very
Yeah.
physical. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was a
elbowing
problem.
people, pushing people, and all
I
that.
sit on them, man. What do you mean pushing
Sit
them? I
on.
just sit on them. I just
No wonder they got mad.
yeah,
See,
put them cheeks to them. That's what you do.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no wonder it didn't go well. They're not used to it.
No,
Like-
that's terrible.
Well, I'm just saying, like when you can't do the Dennis Rodman.
I know. I wasn't. No. See, you know, went too far. No, I ain't done
No,
all that.
I don't know what happened. But when
Okay.
you say they're mad and
I
they were
think
not
we
used
got.
to
Hold on.
that.
Let me see. Let me look at this other question here.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out what they're not used to.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the another
Yeah.
question.
So, well, this says, let's see here. So, discuss how travel has enriched our relationship and understanding each other's cultures. So, well,
Yeah. Well, being in South Africa, they're together. Lucky for us, we lived with our sister.
Right.
My sister.
hmm
Um, and so culturally, it wasn't very different because it was just, the fact that, she had help us in the house and outside, and she had luxuries that we didn't have here. So it was kind of like, ooh, right? And the kids were really excited, just getting up, going to the backyard and swimming all the time.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah, going to different restaurants and, having people basically being really, real nice. And, remember it was was it our 10th year anniversary or something like that, in this restaurant? I just remember people bringing us dessert or what have you and wishing us happy anniversary. And
Is that
both of
when
us,
we were in South Africa?
yeah, when we were in South Africa. Yeah, we were with my sister and some of her colleagues, and we were in this restaurant.
Yeah, I do. I
So-
don't remember what anniversary that. Let's see, that was what 2007. So that would
Yeah.
have been 7 years.
It must, 7-year anniversary, and because it was in August, and so, that was fun. I think it brought us together because we had to rely on each other. Because even though
Oh,
I am
my
South
goodness.
African, I've been gone for so long since when I
Yeah.
was a kid. So coming back as an adult, there's so much that we had to learn together.
Man, I don't want to jump
Yeah.
away but you just made me think of something. About so when you said we had to support each other. Remember when I got sick just before you left?
Oh yeah, that
Man,
was
you want to
great.
talk about. So, I'll tell you, folks who wonder the value of marriage. Well, let me tell you, I know this woman loved me because when we were there in South Africa, I got sick. I don't know what, like I never got diagnosed with anything, but
Yeah.
It was the
It
worst.
was just like the day before I left,
Yeah,
too.
it was like the worst possible stomach cramps you could imagine. Like I never experienced anything like it in my life, and it was so bad. The pains were so bad that I couldn't stand up. I
Yeah.
remember that. I remember walking when you had to
We
walk
had to
me
go
to the
to the,
hospital. What is that?
pharmacy.
The pharmacy.
Yeah.
You literally, I'm like, I leaning on you, and you kind of not dragging me, but practically dragging me, man, because it was so bad. Like, and I would have to stop from time to time because it would just
Yeah.
be too much to handle.
Yeah.
And you saw me through that the best you could, right? Because
Yeah.
I literally got better the day you left.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
maybe it was stress.
Man, I
right?
don't
Because
know.
we didn't change, diets. We were eating exactly the same thing
Yeah.
that we've been eating for months.
Yeah.
Because we were there for like 6-7 months. We
Yeah.
were there for a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But what I remember vividly, because South Africa in 2007, you will think a lot of things have changed.
Right.
I just remember the pharmacy owner,
Uh-huh.
didn't want to talk to me. You were so sick you couldn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
She literally looked at me and then, moved all her attention to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't understand her accent. So I had to kind of like translate.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I'm a really chill person. Everybody who
Right,
knows me,
right.
it's like you really have to provoke me for
Right.
me to, start getting irritated. I remember being so irritated. I was like, ma'am, my husband is not feeling well right now. You're going to need to speak to me, whether you like it or not.
Right.
I got so, upset. And it's so sad because I forgot how things were back home.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady, me being indigenous South African, and then she looked at you, she looked at your complexion,
Mm-hmm.
and she felt like you deserve her attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of like what's still happening? It's happening in South Africa. I don't know now if it's changed. And, I don't remember, but she seems like she was from either in India, or she's from India or somewhere in the Middle East.
Hmm.
And it was just so bizarre because I forgot all
Oh yeah,
about
yeah,
those
yeah.
kind of,
Right, right.
attitudes.
Yeah.
And so, and I was just so shocked. It took me a second to realize what was going on, and I had to remember we're in South Africa.
Hmm.
So by the time I let her know, she was, "Oh yes, ma'am, nothing. No, don't yes, ma'am me now.
Right.
Now
I
that
know, right? Yeah.
let's not do this." But
Man.
so that was kind of like a culture shock, and I remember you just looking at her, looked at me, and you just kept pointing like, "Well, what the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
Right. Well, but
We
you
had
know
to.
that. So yeah, that was, man.
Yeah.
That's one of those things I'll never forget because like I can almost still feel that, boy. I don't
Yeah.
think I've never been in that much pain before. Even with the injuries and things that I've had, I ain't never been in
Yeah.
that kind of.
And
Even
then,
with the
and
surgery,
then,
man,
yeah,
that I
and then
had.
she gave it. She was like, I don't know. She gave us some pills or whatever. You didn't
Mhm.
even take them
Yeah. No.
because we
Yeah. I didn't
figured,
know what it was.
yeah, we
Yeah.
don't know what it is that she's prescribing,
Hmm.
and we didn't know. And I think my sister went to work or something like that
Hmm.
because I don't remember why we just didn't take you to a clinic or to a hospital, and I had to find, this
Yeah.
little pharmacy
Yeah.
nearby.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the dynamics were, but
Yeah.
I just remember just yelling at this pharmacy because of the way she was treating us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that was bizarre.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things that, well, on the positive side, right?
Hmm.
Well, positive from the context that I remember one of the things that I really enjoyed. You
Hmm.
mentioned them having a swimming pool and that thing, and that was all great. What I enjoy doing personally is just
Hmm.
walking and exploring. I
Hmm.
remember taking the kids, and we almost got lost. A good thing I have, like, I try to stay in a straight line, the best I
Right.
can, but it was just, man, to walk around and look at the different landscapes and how people have,
Oh
even
yeah.
though the downside was every house had a dang gate around it,
Yeah,
like a brick
yeah.
gate and then barbed wire and people with AKs in some cases.
I
So
didn't see
that,
people with
oh
AKs.
yes, yeah. When I went over to,
Oh, those gated neighborhoods,
no,
like
not
where you
even the
have
gated
guards.
neighborhood,
Yeah.
man. Listen, when I went over, remember that project that I was working on with
Oh
Ziona?
yeah. That was Nelson Mandela's neighborhood. That's why.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and on the way to there's
Yeah.
well, remember she lived up on the mountainside,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as you
That
were
was like the
making your
most
way,
expensive
oh, I know, but
area.
yeah, well, them
Yeah.
folk, man, when I saw they had them guard towers on each corner of the property, I
Yeah.
was like, man, these mugs ain't playing. I
Yeah.
don't know who lived there, but I don't want to go visit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's but anyway, so those things from a cultural side, that was a kind of a shocker to me,
Shocking.
right? Because I'm
Yeah.
not used to seeing people even here like with a gated community.
Yeah.
Well, that's like for me is a newer experience. It might not be for other people, but
Yeah.
you know,
But you don't see armed guards.
well,
You know
and
what
you
I'm saying,
and
to
it's
the
and it's
gated
when they say
community.
gated, it's usually
Yeah.
a fence. It's not
Yeah.
like brick wall with barbed wire and
Yeah.
electrified fencing, and it's not usually that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but so those were kind of a shocker, but at the same time, with the mindset and the things that were, people were dealing with, it made sense too. But it was just for me to walk around and explore and just put my feet in places that they never been before,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to take the kids, to get them out the house because the
Yeah,
thing I
because you
did.
guys used to go to that little park.
Yeah, we used to walk everywhere. We used to walk to the store. We used to walk to the
Yeah.
park. We used to walk around, and I had one on the shoulders and one on both sides of me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, we just to get out because the one thing I didn't like about the houses are they like compounds. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So with them brick walls, I'm not used to that. So it
To
makes
be
me
honest.
feel, that's why I used to just get out and
Yeah.
walk. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I would feel like I was free, kind
Yeah.
of.
To me, what was funny is like load shedding, right?
Yeah.
Long story what that means. Sometimes, you don't have electricity,
Mm-hmm.
because of whatever, load
Right.
shedding.
Yep.
One time we didn't have electricity, or the power went off,
Mm-hmm.
and Rob, you went behind the house, and we all sitting in the living room, we were watching TV when the power went off.
Yeah.
And then you went behind the house and you start knocking on the window.
Mhm.
You know, so because in the SA in South Africa, it's like one of the first world countries. So majority of people who are not able to make it either to Europe or to America, they come to South Africa. So as a result, you do have a lot of a lot of people, coming from everywhere. Sometimes you end up with undocumented people and so
Mhm.
forth. So whatever. Long story short, sometimes there can be a lot of crime.
Right.
Just like everywhere else in a
Right.
big city.
Right.
So that's not normal what you did. So when
Mhm.
you start knocking on the door, everybody started panicking. And my sister's helper at the time had made, I think she had hit her leg or something like that. So we all took off, running to, the other direction. She sat on the couch, and every time you knocked and you land this Sutu
Mhm.
word, you like boom, boom, boom. Dumelang. I was like, what the heck?
Oh yeah.
She's like, ah! She just kept screaming. She put her one leg out. She's like, ah! She couldn't move. That was so funny. But by the time you were like, Dumelang, the second time, I was like, that's my husband. I'm sorry. He fooled me. I was like, rah! You just started laughing.
Hey, that was funny, man. That was funny.
Like, where did he learn this word? Where did you learn this Dumelang?
Man, just walking
That was
around.
hilarious.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Walking around. That's where
Because that's how everybody was greeting you.
yeah.
Like, a lot of
Well,
people
they
were
actually
saying-
wasn't even talking to me.
Yeah.
They talking to other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I pay attention.
Yeah.
Just like when you talk to your family from home.
Yeah.
That's how I learn some
Yeah,
of the
you'd
words
be saying
or the
words
context.
sometimes,
Yeah,
you'd
it's
be
just the
like-
context.
Yeah.
And which play. See, I think too, getting out, walking around, and kind of just engaging in the way that I did by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
What that did for me is it kind of built my confidence a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, like you were mentioning earlier, the fellas that I was playing basketball with, I didn't know any of those guys, but we hit it off really well.
Mhm.
It worked out. And matter of fact, now I'm remembering because, wow, I'm trying to think. All right, so I met those guys playing basketball before I met with the guy, right? The head of Vusi.
Vusi.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll never forget it, man. That was a big experience,
Wow.
man. Like that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest experience, as far as my experiences over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wow, man. When I think about how that whole thing happened, those guys. I think I was just playing basketball, shooting around. Your sister had went to the college. Yeah, I remember that now. She went to the college,
Yeah.
and they had a basketball court outside because I had been looking for a place to play basketball the whole time that I was there.
Yeah.
And finally, she was like, "Well, I'm going to the college. They got an outdoor court." And so I went there and started just shooting around, playing, shooting with. I think I brought my own ball. Yeah, and I was just shooting around on one end of the court. And then next thing you know, the guys, you asked me to play, and I, started playing with them, and then that was it. But that was awesome, man. Those guys were really cool, and they made me feel like home.
Yeah.
So that was a really awesome experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was good. So your experience was very, enriching, very different. A lot of, different languages to pick up, watching people. Me, coming here, I don't know, just traveling around. I don't have the similar kind of experience. Maybe because majority of my adulthood I've been here.
Right.
So every time I travel to Atlanta or to Florida or to New York or wherever, I'm just used to be finding my way,
Right.
talking to people or whatever. So, but then in South Africa, again, I speak the language. I'm from there. There were certain things that I forgot, like about that experience with that lady at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
Things like that I forget sometimes because it was so overt. Not that it doesn't happen in this country, but sometimes it's just not so overt.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hey, you making me think of another thing.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. Hey,
The
boy,
taxi driver.
Man, no, not the taxi driver. I'm thinking just the drivers in general, cause
Yeah.
man. Now you did say Johannesburg is like the big city, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you,
Like
the
New
big-
York, actually. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think. Do we got places? I guess we roll stop signs, but y'all intentionally run stop signs over there, man. I was like, man, the first time I saw that, I was like, what? Y'all gonna kill us? What are you
that was
man?
that was a different. Yeah, because I remember my sister. I convinced her to let me drive. You know,
Ooh.
they drive on a different side of the road there.
On a different side of the car.
Different side of the car
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah.
Here, we drive on the right side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they drive on the left side of the road. So
Mhm.
everything is so different. The steering wheel is on the outside. I'm like, you know what? It's no big deal. Let me drive. You know, as long as I'm in the highway, I'll be
good.
able to. I'm good.
Yeah.
Shoot, I took off. She was like, within 2 minutes, she's like, pull over, pull over. I'm like, why? She's like, no, I have to drive. She's like, you don't understand. You're going to get both of us killed. I'm like, I'm driving, I'm obeying, you know, the traffic
Yeah.
laws and all that. She's like, you drive like an American. Also, what does that
Yep.
mean? She's like, you're too nice. You need to go. You can, like, as soon as the light change, you need to be going. You can't be stopping and all of that. I guess, you know, because of the crime, you can
Yeah.
get, you know, car hijacking was
Hey,
huge. where
that's
we
one
at.
thing. But
Yeah.
straight up running the stop sign,
Oh,
like
yeah.
they don't believe. I mean, I can't say
It
they
was
because I
not
don't know
everybody.
everybody.
It's certain parts of the city
I'm
where
gonna call your
you can't-
sister out because she just said. I'm like, wait, that say stop. It don't say speed up. Man.
I remember
Man.
she was like, no, we're not stopping.
No,
You
man,
know?
that was crazy.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
but
that
it
was crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I guess there are certain parts, you know, in New York that
Mhm.
you just can't stop. I remember getting lost in Chicago,
Uh huh.
you know, and was coming to see you. That's when we're still dating or
Mhm.
whatever. I remember just being under these bridges and with, you know,
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
It's probably the Skyway
questionable-
under there, yeah.
Oh my God, that was the scariest.
Yeah.
But lucky for me, I have a good sense, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of directions. You know, as long as I know my south, north, east, west, or what
Oh
have
no, you know I'm like
I don't
Batman,
know.
girl. You just follow the signal. You fine.
Yeah, no. I remember because she was like, "Come see me." I was like, "Oh, I'll see you in 3 hours." You like what? I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
right. 3
Hey,
hours."
I'm telling you, when
So
you knocked
I
on the
got
door, man, I
lost,
was
but that
like,
was
"What?"
so
I
scary.
knew it was my wife.
Oh, well,
When I heard that, I heard, "Here comes the bride."
that's not what I was looking for. Well, it worked out. I wasn't.
Oh,
looking
here come
for
the
a
truth, y'all.
husband.
Hold on. Shh, don't let me.
No, I'm just
I'm
saying
just
if you're
kidding.
gonna be
I'm
looking
just
for a
kidding.
husband on a first date or
Um,
first visit.
Hey,
you know,
I'm
or what
looking
have
for
you.
a good wife as soon as I meet her. That's, if
Yeah,
you're good,
you
you're
do.
good. Shoot,
You know, you were
yeah.
there. But I just remember getting lost. I was so scared because I looked up, it was just nothing but bridges.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
underneath it was just like, you know, a lot of rubbish, a lot of trash, and you know, and it was nobody.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm
Yeah.
like, why is this trash and blankets everywhere and there's nobody nowhere?
Mhm.
You know, that was scary.
Yeah, it is.
But I found my way out, you know,
Mhm.
because I took a wrong turn or wrong exit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's some sketchy
yeah.
places and spaces over there, man. Because you know when I first graduated from college,
Mhm.
I started working for Sears, and I had a trainer who was like
Mhm.
training. You know, I had to ride with him for like I think the first couple weeks or something like that.
Right.
And this guy was from like what they call the Wild Hundreds of
Mhm.
Chicago,
Mhm.
and so we used to drive out to those areas
Mhm.
every day for lunch.
Mhm. Oh wow.
So man, you talking about scary, man? He got bullet holes in his van. You know what I mean?
Dang.
Like, and I'm like, man,
Like,
I'm like, you
this is
got me
normal,
out here,
yeah.
and man, that was boy. I done had some.
Yeah.
Had some interesting stories. Where we at here? We at 57 minutes. Wow, can you
Yeah.
believe that?
Wow. It went really fast.
It did go quickly.
Yeah.
So this was interesting. So for our first show, we got us we had a couple viewers and couple comments. So that's
Yeah,
good.
we have 6, you know, people there. Well, thank you everybody. This was great. You
Yeah.
know, again, we just here having fun.
Yep. Yep.
2024 was great. A lot
It
of
was.
great things, a lot of great accomplishment.
Mhm.
But again, a lot of things that we're gonna do better in 2025. You know, and for me is to come back and connect again with family and friends
Mhm.
instead of being so consumed at work all the time. And before you know it, many years have gone by.
Mhm.
Reflecting back to when we got with our friends, you know, this past weekend, you
Yeah.
know, it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow, it seems like it was just a long time ago, but it made me realize how much, you know,
Yeah.
you don't get time back, and you
Right.
don't get, you know, every
goes
opportunity you
by
made to
quickly.
connect with friends and the people we love.
Right.
You can get back.
Right.
That. So
Hey, and on that note,
make time for that.
Next week we're going to invite some wonderful.
It's gonna be a special
wonderful
show
guests.
next
Yeah,
week.
we're gonna have a great show. we'll have another wonderful power couple in here, and we're gonna have. Well, I don't
We
know.
just have
No,
fun.
yeah, I was gonna say
We'll have fun.
we're not gonna have anything but fun. We just
Yeah.
because these folks, well, I'm telling you,
They're awesome.
hey,
They are awesome. You know.
y'all better bring your tissues. That's all I can say because I got a strong feeling this is gonna be a pretty funny show next week, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us for this first show of 2025. And I don't know. I mean, we want to end the show on a good note. So
Thank you, Ron. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, another great
So
yes.
let's go.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
another great show. You know what? We missed. I can't wait till next week.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And my apologies. I get so excited. I'm like, you guys come on tomorrow, and I forget that you still have to set this up and make sure that
Yep.
it's ready to go.
Mhm.
But I really appreciate the fact that you didn't even hesitate. You were just like, you know what, we're gonna be there, and that's what true friends are all about.
Right.
You know.
That's all we can ask for.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. We
Good
appreciate
relationships. You know. And that's what I'm shooting for. 2025.
it.
You know,
Mhm.
building high quality relationships. You know that we can, sustain. We can go into the future with some solid plans of action.
Absolutely.
And just man, let's start enjoying life, right?
You don't leave any nuggets today. My nugget is we said a lot of things about South Africa. We said a lot of things about here. Just remember that people are the same everywhere you go. They are good and they are bad people everywhere you go in every culture. And just so we point out certain things in South Africa and certain things here, it's not about people, it's about the environment.
Right.
Sometimes that allow or create those kind of sentiments that we're talking about.
Right.
So, but the bottom line is like people are the same everywhere you go. You will find all dynamics, of people behavior or
Right.
experiences, whether you're in New York or Johannesburg or Chicago or Zanin, rural
Right.
areas of South Africa. So keep an open mind, keep learning, and be patient with yourself.
I
And
love
others.
it. That's a great nugget. And my nugget for this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is to get out there. Get out there, spread your wings, travel. She says that people are the same everywhere you go. I'm not going to contradict that, but I'm going to say
Yeah.
there's good people everywhere you go.
Mhm.
And you can find those good people in those good places to enjoy yourself, learn some great things, and make some great memories.
Absolutely.
And on that note, see you next week. Conversations Under the Hood. We out, baby.
Have a great Sunday.
And give me my mouse back. What you doing with my mouse over there anyway?
I was getting curious about
Yes,
this conversation.
indeedy. It's always good. I enjoy it.